This is Random Urban Memories, brought to you by the Rum Boys. You've seen, heard, or felt it on the streets. Well, we're here to talk about it.
In 3, 2, 1.
And here we are. Thank you very much for joining us. Our second live episode.
Broadcast.
Being streamed live and also being broadcast live.
It's the week of Caribbean Queen, so you heard this already.
Before we went online,
Queen.
That's literally all he's been singing for like 10 minutes into the microphone, and I can hear it nice and loud.
Sharing the same dream.
Nice. Love it.
Cool.
That's what you need.
Yeah, that's what you
wake
need.
your day
like,
up, you know?
I mean, in this weather, you just have to think about the Caribbean, sun, rum, pirates, everything.
I like all of that.
Yeah, I like rum. I like Caribbean rum. I like Caribbean rum. I like Slovak rum also, but nobody actually liked my pictures on the website on our page on Facebook.
Yeah,
which is so strange because who wouldn't like Slovak rum?
I didn't even know Slovakia made rum.
Well, it's not. I mean, we call it rum.
Yeah,
because of you cannot call something that it's not from made the same way as normal rum.
Okay, kind of like champagne or something like that. There's restrictions.
So they just came up with domestic it's literally called domestic
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I'll bring it to you. I'll show you the.
Please bring
I'll show you
some.
the bottle. It's
that sounds amazing.
So they never came up with a brand for Bacardi or I don't know Captain Morgan or anything like that. It was always just called domestic rum, and then they changed it. It's like domestic
That is amazing.
You're buying.
I love it. I love the complete lack of effort as well. It's kind of like. What do you want to call this, Victor? I don't know. Is Victor a normal name? I don't know. But
no.
It's all right, okay. But they looked at it and going,
Martin,
fuck it.
Listen, Jan.
Brilliant.
So can I get
Can I get
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about Galway Races coming up next week.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, Texas. In Ireland, House Texas. I think this will be really interesting topic for millennials. And then we will talk about Shane trying to figure out where he's actually coming from. What's in his DNA? Who is he?
Who am I? What am I?
And then if that will work out, then I'll get that. Well, not if that will work out. If our assumptions are right, then I will check whether I'm really Hungarian or whether I'm I might be gypsy or I don't know, half Indian or I don't know. I just really want to know who is David?
And what is David?
What is David? What am I made out of? So figure that out. Okay, so let's start with Galway Races. So again. So we are expecting 250,000 people to come to Galway.
That's an insane amount.
Every year around this time. Everybody from Galway is looking forward to it, especially for those traffic jams. So I know people in our work, people are one of my good friends, Klaus, actually send instructions and time schedule and how to not get stuck in traffic jams and stuff like that. So I think that's really handy, and I think that it got much better over the years, in terms of traffic. Yeah, with that, I think that they also probably changed times when the main events are going on because
I think they adjusted it.
It used to be earlier, and then everybody
well, it varies day by
5
day. Yeah. Oh, for all of you international viewers, listeners, whatever it may be, the Galway Races is a fabled and famed horse race meet. What? That's horse race meet?
Horse race.
It is a meeting
races
for horse racing.
Races.
And that's horse race meet. What the fuck?
Horse race meet.
Yeah, so basically that's what it is, and an insane amount of people descend on this little city, Galway, in the west of Ireland, and that's where
It's a big
that is.
traditional thing, you know.
It's
like
huge. It's
going
absolutely
on for-
huge,
for years.
and it is a unbelievably large party. It's just basically Galway gets put into this, parallel state of emergency nearly or whatever, because it's just party from Monday to Sunday, and it's kicking off tomorrow, as in the 31st of July.
Yeah.
So
And everybody's looking forward to the Ladies' Day, and then for the following morning, also for the Walk of Shames, and like all of the, like I've seen like probably I usually see around 10 to 15 people just sleeping around Ayr Square after Ladies' Day, every year, and I usually either drive around or just walk through a pass, but it's just crazy, like how people get so drunk that it's like I'm just going to sleep.
It's
here,
you were at a venue. You were saying last year. I had because I worked in the hotel industry on the other side of the wrong side of the bar for the Galway Races.
Yeah.
I have never actually been to the actual racing grounds in all my
me
years
neither.
here. And because I worked most of it for most years, I simply couldn't go to any events given or anything like that. But the one thing, there was a chef in Galway, a Michelin star chef, who closes the restaurant for the week of race
I've heard
week.
about it.
Second time in a row now, full pay and everything. But I believe he is right. He says it's like Rag Week or Freshers Week for grown-ups.
Yeah, it's
because
like
he was
steroids.
people were pissing up against his restaurant,
Yeah.
being rude because everyone, literally, such a large portion of people act like dickheads. And then they
Yeah.
get fucked up, and it's so much work, and it's quite unpleasant, especially if you're on the service side. I know everyone is like, we'll have a great time and all that kind of stuff, but when
And
you
I think
see
like majority of people do, like literally do, but it's like there's so much drinks consumed, and like
oh man,
and the thing is like what I don't get is how can when I'm suited up or like when I have a suit on, I try to not get so drunk because I don't want to like damage the clothing or anything like that. It doesn't seem that people give a shit about it.
There's men and women out there with nice, expensive suits and hats, and don't get me started about the fucking hats, man. But anyway,
What about those hats? Which hats?
you know that
Oh, for ladies?
weird wireframe shit hanging off them or
yeah.
whatever, and I don't
But it's a
get it.
competition.
Yeah, I know, but like, it's terrible looking.
Yeah, like,
but anyway,
who came up with the
who
idea?
came
It's
with
like,
that? Like, I'll
like we are not going to vote for the best looking girl at Galway Races, but we are going to vote for the hat. You know, so you
it's like,
can-
oh look, that's
I don't know,
a
just-
beehive mixed with a bird's nest or whatever, built on a wire frame. But anyway, but you see so many people like dressed nicely, and they look very respectable at the beginning, but come 3:00. When you see them in all the hotels,
Like Thursday,
then it
Thursdays,
gets
Thursday, Wednesdays, like
brutal,
the
man, brutal,
peak.
man.
It's like
€2,000 dress and puke don't mix. Yeah, and then dudes walking around with tears in their ass and their knees all.
I like what
bundled
I
up.
like is the country boys when they come here, and then you see, like so I'm not saying that I'm I like nice clothes, and I like when suit actually matches like the shoes and all of that. When people like actually put some effort into it.
And your attitude.
But then you just see these guys. It's just like he's wearing like either like the trousers are either too big or either too small. They're either too low or either too high.
Yeah.
Then you see like the shoes are like not matching, so he is like he's a big fella, probably like overweight, and then he tries to push all of his big ass like feet into like tiny really like narrow shoes, which are then made up of this like a leather. It's kind of like a pattern. It's not a full kind of like covered shoe, but it's like kind of like a leather stripes.
Yeah.
Kind of like done like this, and you just look. It's like, oh my god! Like you just look like fucking Kazakhstan or Dagestan, like mafia. You just doesn't match. Just go and change. You just don't attend. And actually, and I was asking this a couple of people. there is actually no dress code for Galway races. You don't have to go with suit on or dress on.
Not really.
It's a common.
Not really.
It's a common men's event. So you can just go. Like nobody's going to turn you and say, "Oh no, you are just not dressed for the occasion, so you have to go."
Yeah.
But people still do that. So like, I just don't get the.
I guess
I
it's
just
because
don't get
it's,
the idea. Like, why?
I guess it's because it's associated with money. Horse racing is something that rich people would have done way back when.
But do I have to like? Why do people do dress to look rich when they're like when you are not? You know, like I don't know, like I just don't get the idea.
It's all about
I have to prove myself, so I have to go and like I don't know.
all about appearances, man.
I just don't get it.
All about
I
appearances.
just don't get it. It's crazy. I think like who I'm happy for are the taxi drivers. They'll get so much money this week.
They're pretty happy
They
to.
definitely deserve the money for this week because it will be.
And some
so
of them
many
work like
people.
14 hours in a row. Some of them do like 4 days in a row and like really insane hours. So
crazy.
because the taxiing nearly goes 24 hours, there's only small breaks in between. So at like when the hotels illegally close at 4 or 5 or whatever it is, they do the run then until 7 o'clock. The people are passed out in the streets or trying to get home, and there's always queues for taxi. So they're going right up until 7. House parties, that you know what I mean. It's nearly 24-hour operation. Like so, respect to that. And having to deal with the people, of course.
Do they actually like? I know the truck drivers, for example, have this, but do taxi drivers have any sort of a regulation that they would be that you have to take a rest for a certain amount of time, and you have to prove it that you have taken it? Because like truck drivers have to have like like there is it's kind of like a disc thing where you have to kind of like point with when did you stop, how long did you take your break for, and how long did you drive afterwards. But do taxi drivers have to do that?
I don't know if that's regulated or not. I don't think so. Because
It's
theoretically, because it's very dangerous to drive.
like you probably
people and tired.
I guess bus drivers have to do the same thing,
Yeah, they're only
Did
allowed.
you have to have
they're only allowed a certain amount, and then
But like,
Rest in
what about
between.
taxi drivers?
I don't know.
But then it's probably hard to like regulate or like guess how many hours they were actually driving or like sitting there.
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, definitely. I think that they'll get their money and they deserve it after this week.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah. Are you planning to go or?
No. Not at all. Straight up.
No.
I have no interest in it anyway, and then it'll all be too late. I don't go out on school nights, so.
Me neither.
Yeah. So.
No, I'll probably go. Maybe one of the evenings, but definitely going on Saturday, not for races, but for something else. But I'll be in town on Saturday, so
Yeah.
hopefully
All right.
it will be a good night.
It will be
It will-
a good night.
It will be a good night. I'll be drinking a lot of domestic.
Well, I tell you, have you? Speaking of domestic, have you seen the reveal or the planning of that they have done by wanting to tax vacant homes, vacant second and third homes?
Yeah.
What's your?
Yeah, so I heard about it. So maybe you can explain like what it is, what they're trying to do.
Yeah, sorry folks if I'm a little bit distracted because I do
Maybe
apologize.
I can.
No, because I'm there's a lot of screenage going on here and a lot of information being passed back and forth and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure that it's all
Working.
it's all here and working. And now I can see comments here as well on the phone, that's the point. So Stephen,
I can explain it then.
thank you.
So basically,
My apologies.
so what they're planning to do, or what they would like to do, is, I think it was like one of the, like one of the guys in the
Yes.
in the parliament that came up with this. That basically, if you are a homeowner, and you are not using that house or that flat, for example,
Yeah.
that you are either
For
for
domestic
yourself
use,
or
yeah.
rent it out, you should actually pay extra tax on the top of any tax that you are paying, because there is a housing crisis in Ireland, and you are not actually contributing to make sure that goes away.
Yeah.
Because the prices are going up. Da 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 da.
Well, we actually checked the statistics on, 'cause did a little bit of research, and not counting holiday homes, of which there's 60,000 in Ireland. That's a whole different category. What did we see? It was 198,000 homes
Are
empty
at the
in the
moment.
country. That is an absolutely insane amount. You have to remember how small this country is. That number of houses would wipe the whole housing list clean. Yeah.
And then what we checked was that basically, so these were like 2011 numbers, because then we just couldn't handle the numbers and we just moved over to another topic. But 2011 report showed that Dublin actually had over 200,000, around 200,000 empty or
Sorry, houses in general
in Dublin in total, in Dublin city. So basically you have almost
a city,
an empty Dublin sitting around
that is nuts, man.
around
That is
Ireland,
nuts.
and then
Yeah.
young families cannot find houses. Then the rents are going up. Then there's a huge crisis in Dublin that they are trying to figure out. And again, but it's all kind of like connected to the crisis also.
Oh, of course,
to
of course,
financial
of course,
crisis.
yeah. Because all the prices came in, and then the big buyers come in, and the cash buyers, people who are cash flush, they buy it all up, drive up the prices, and us fools have to try and limp to the bank with meager savings that you can put together every month, even though we are payment capable. We're more like our generation is very payment capable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had a mortgage for 700, I'd be saving money. I'd be saving more money with the rent that I pay here.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it makes more sense to actually pay mortgage.
But what's your opinion on this now in regards to the actual taxation? Let's just to go back to that subject now, because on the one hand, I agree that everything needs to be done to bring more houses online to ease the pressure, so that there simply is higher demand, so keep the pricing low and people have the opportunity to buy homes. That's good. But should we be punishing the people or incentivizing the people? Or have all those people gotten enough for free now at this stage? Because my point is, I bought a house, then I bought a second house, and then I bought a third house. I paid for those. They're taxed. I paid for every cent. They're my houses.
Yeah.
Why am I getting punished for it? Like, I mean, we might be talking about like 200 a year or something. I can't think that it's going to. But for 200,000,
I don't think that it will be like
insane.
1,000 euros.
But still, though, it's my house. I paid for it. Whether I put 50 people in it or nobody, and I just sit outside and look at it all day.
It's my thing.
That's my counter argument to that.
Yeah,
like, I'm all for let's get these back online, but what's the justification?
I think it
behind
probably makes sense also. Like, I mean, from their perspective, I think like people will be like, yeah, exactly. Like, why should I pay? I would probably limit it, or like make a range of like how many years is that house empty, for example.
Yeah.
Or what kind of category is that house?
Yeah.
Because like you cannot like, let's not like if it's an old house and it's not for example suited, or like you just cannot rent it, for example, or you can prove that you have been trying to rent it out, for example, then you shouldn't be paying a tax. But if it's sitting there and you know that there is that people want to buy it or want to rent it, and you are just not happy with the price that they're offering you, then you should be paying tax.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think that kind of like makes
it needs
makes
to be more
sense.
situation specific.
Yeah, I think that they should probably have some specific rules and not just say, oh yeah, whatever is empty, everybody's just going to pay tax. I mean that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh. It's just whole blanket coverage on the whole system. Now,
I mean, it's the same like, when you take the water charges. Like don't charge people who are on like social welfare, for example. Like that doesn't make sense. If you want to charge, then charge companies.
No, they do already.
Yeah, they do?
Oh yeah, every business has to pay water tax.
Shit. But like tax, not charges.
Oh no, sorry,
Water
they pay,
charges.
they pay water metered water charges.
Yeah.
Businesses do. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, where am I? I didn't know this. But anyway, so they're doing the right thing. Actually, they didn't start this
For
shit.
once.
No, but I think that that I mean, there should be rules to all of this, and not just say, oh yeah, we are going to do this. I think that whoever came up with the idea and started to promote it should be very clear of what they are actually going to do and what they want to do, because then people will just start to freak out, and then they'll be not receptive to the point, because then they'll be like, oh, why should I be exactly the same point as you said? Why should I be paying for it?
It's my house.
It's my house.
It's literally my house.
Yeah.
What the problem is, a lot of times, is these knee-jerk reactions that come out. Yeah, they're short-term bullshit fixes, because never do they look at the system behind it. Like, you need to go down to the root cause here. Yeah, so that if you implement something, you need to go back along the chain to see what other effects does it have. Like, for example, the rent cap that they put on. Nobody can raise their rents for 2 years.
Oh yeah, when did they do it?
In the last year, I think. Yeah. No, that it came out. Yeah. Guess what happened before the deadline came? Rents shot up, and the rental market has now even increased by another 11% on average. It's insane. So where is this fucking rent cap? I'm wondering where.
I didn't know about this,
The
actually.
rents just keep going up, and every time a tenant leaves, you can put up the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where are all
Like, I
these
think
measures?
even when you are signing like the contract, it always says 2 years, but then you check the time, and it's due to renew in a year. So it's like, what are you actually signing?
I don't know. It's
And like it's
Exactly.
like, I've heard multiple people having this problem.
yeah.
And I don't think like
No, this is what I'm saying. The
then we will
measures are
just
not thought
end
out.
up-
They put
we'll
something
just
in.
end up in the same shit as we were.
By the way, we are heading right into it. We are doing
And we are
exactly
doing it
the
much,
same thing.
much faster than it was happening before.
Yep. And again, it's not us.
Yeah.
We're the ones paying the price, literally paying the price for this.
Yeah.
Literally paying the price for this. But again, barely any regulation or like sensible regulation. And if you put in one measure, you need to make sure it fits in line with everything else, or you overhaul the system completely.
Like the rents where I live, they went up by 400 to 500 euros within
Wow.
5 years that we lived there.
Dude,
Within 5 years.
That's a
It's like
lot.
every year 100 euros.
See what I mean? This is what I'm
And it's
talking
like there was no change in like circumstances or anything like that. It's just
Nothing
like,
changed.
It's just
Nothing changed. Yeah.
People just started to like. Well, my neighbor is asking for more money, and he's getting it. Somebody's paying him, so I should be asking for it.
But
And
look-
then what you see 2 months later, the neighbors' renters, or like the people who rent, go off.
See, the problem. This is the classic problem of supply and demand. There is no, like, it's not okay. Like, you can't boycott houses or rent, because you can. If I don't want to buy a product and everyone else does it, then they'll stop making that product.
Yeah.
Or if you don't like a show, don't watch it, then
Yeah.
they might take it off air. But if I need housing, I need housing. Yeah, I can't just not rent or whatever.
But nothing is
But the
being
problem
built either.
is, so they bring the prices up and people are paying it. That's the problem. Like, you can determine the value as long as people are paying it, no matter how high the price is.
Yeah.
Whether it's sensible or not, that's a whole different story. But if you want to sell one room for €2,000 a month, and somebody is willing to pay it, believe me, along that street, all the other rooms will be €2,000 as well. That's the problem. As long as people are
Like
paying.
it will not happen right away, but within a year,
But
like everybody will start to
doable.
It's
Exactly.
like, well, somebody will be there who is going to pay me.
Yeah.
That's the attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
So like everybody
exactly.
is like
yes.
So there's no regulation from the government about like, okay, so I don't know, like the cap in this area should be such and such,
Yeah.
but then
No.
I mean, plus nothing is being built, so
Yeah.
everybody's just like trying to raise the prices while they can.
Yep.
People cannot buy any new houses because there's not that much being
Forget
built.
about it.
When you drive around Galway, you don't see that much of being like that many like sites where they are building anything.
No.
So, like, how are they going to like they need to fix this? They need to boost the industry or something like that. But I don't know.
They're putting plasters on a leaking, or putting.
I think this is
plaster
a
on
good
leaking
idea.
book and-
I think this is a good idea anyway, because they get some money in, and they can. What they should do with that money, or with part of that money, is to
Forced buyouts or they
push it, or I don't know, get
buy houses with it.
when you get the subsidy for the mortgage, then
Yeah.
the government, like the state, actually pays
Yeah.
part of it. For you, or you'll get lower
first-time
interest
buyers
or
or
something
whatever,
like that. So like they should push on these things
Yeah.
to get people to buy houses, but to buy them and live in them,
Yeah.
and not to rent. Because you are literally creating a business rather than homes for people.
Yeah.
That's like how many. It's like, so like I don't know, like if somebody builds an estate, so I'll build 20 houses, and then I'll sell 10 houses to an agency, and that agency is going to make money out of it. But I'm not actually creating a long-term
Solution.
home for somebody who's going to live there.
Yeah.
Because the times that people from all over Europe were coming to Ireland
Yeah.
and leaving after like 1 or 2 years, those are gone.
Yeah.
Those are gone. People want to either stay or they don't even come here.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
it's
it will
balanced
not
out
come
now.
back. It will not come back. And I think that everybody has to realize that if they want to keep people here and they want to keep them in the areas that they need them in, they need to start to build houses in a clever way. Because like when you are going, just go from Galway to Mayo and go through all of these small towns and small kind of like villages.
Yeah.
You see like completely new houses, like
Yeah.
estates,
Yeah.
empty.
Or
They were
ghost
empty,
estates.
empty for
nuts,
years, and nobody was doing anything about them. So I don't know. Should maybe someone who is planning the development of the towns or villages?
But the government can take the reins. See, the problem is a
but
developer
they should
might
be
build an
saying also
estate
to people,
but
yeah.
if he crashed, then it's empty. It doesn't belong to anybody. But the government use some of that money that they might be getting off this or some
Yeah.
other measures. Do a forced buyout or buy up whatever is there. But then again, it might be attached to bad loans or something like that. You know what I mean? It's a weird
but
game.
They should buy it out and then just
supply it.
or just rent it out to people.
Yeah,
Or I don't know.
But it's
first
nuts.
of all,
Yeah.
there is a problem where they are building houses where nobody actually wanted them. They built houses in areas where there was A, no jobs, B, nobody wanted to live there from young families. Like young families are not going to be living in a village. Like there is absolutely nothing to do. And like you have to think about like demographics also. It's not only Irish that want to buy the houses. Now it's like everybody.
It's international
It's like
now,
international buyers that want to buy it. International buyers are not going to live in countryside. They want to live.
Most don't.
They want to live.
If
in
anything,
the town.
commuter area.
Yeah,
They're
or
willing
at
to.
least.
They're willing to take a 40-minute drive or whatever. But that's only within a certain area.
Yeah, you're not going to
Yeah.
live somewhere where there's completely nothing to do.
Yeah.
So like, you have to think about what are these kids going to do. Like, the kids will go crazy if they will be the whole day like sitting in the house or just running around the house without any friends. And they're not going to be taken.
You make it sound like as if there's
But you have
nobody there.
Shit is crazy up in here. But it's all like you just have to think about like all of the daily things that people do, and then just incorporate it into your freaking plans.
Yeah.
Like don't be building estates wherever you just buy land.
Yeah, exactly.
just doesn't make sense.
Hoping that a town will form
Yeah.
around it or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's kind of like.
'Cause I'm not going to open a shop where there's nobody walking around it or like where people cannot see it.
Yeah.
Same thing applies to houses.
See, a very large issue with the whole thing about even us being able to afford houses. This is again those stopgap measures. The banks, afraid of their liquidity, or for their liquidity, put up the rules quite harsh for us not to be able to get a loan because they
Made a mistake.
They
in first
are the
place.
ones. It's kind of like, hi, I'd like to get a mortgage for 2,500. Here, have 600,000. Yeah, and a credit card on top of that.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That was not us. Yeah, but they then punish us for not doing it, not being able to. All of a sudden, house purchasing drops, and it needs to be a certain percentage to keep the economy going. What happens then during this freeze where our generation can't afford houses, or no, excuse me, they can afford them, but we can't get on the loan side of things, on a mortgage side of things. There's a little bit of a wasteland, a break in purchasing. Who comes in? Vulture funds, large developers, people who have loads of cash anyway, and they are just buying it up left, right, and center, driving the prices up because they're paying in cash. I read a report about last year or so, where I think it was in and around 48%, or I could be wrong, of house purchases were made with cash. That is an absolutely abnormal figure. That is not good for the economy. Really, really wrong. So the banks held us back.
Yeah.
They punished us. Yeah. It's just so to save their asses. Now we've got this fucking huge problem. And again, it's not like I did not ask for a mortgage 15 years ago. No, the banks were handing it out like candy. Then they shot themselves in the foot. Never punish. We're going into the whole crisis thing now, but I'm going to stay away from it. But the point is, they were never punished. Instead, they get to punish the population.
Yeah.
Of course, measures need to be taken. What's done is done. But yeah, that was a sheer punishment. I can, like, with the expenses that we have, and every bill is paid every time. I can take on 2 mortgages. Yeah, for example, that's just as a rough example. So that's the point. Well, it sounds like I'm super loaded or something like that. Yeah,
wow.
But like but with the payments I make, that I'm able to make, that's my point. I could take on 2 and very
like when
securely
you
pay
take,
them if I didn't
take
have
the money
kindergarten and everything.
that you are paying for the rent, and like you will be paying for mortgage, you will be actually saving money, and then you can. I mean, on one hand, renting is good because
Everything is
goes wrong.
sorted.
Something goes wrong, you just pick up the phone and say,
Done. Yeah.
With house, like if you own a house, it's a bit of a problem because like you have to be taking care of everything.
It's an ongoing cost.
And you have to, like, I personally would probably invest into a new house because then lower risk of something going wrong.
A few economists are saying, not economists, analysis stuff like that. They are saying that a house is actually not that wise of an investment. It's just Ireland has a severe owning culture, like a house owning culture. It's like you stop renting at some stage because you have to buy, which is not true. You know, you could be
renting forever. Like you could be renting forever if you.
But in places like Germany, like your contract will remain the same maybe for 30, 40 years. It'll never go up, or even if it does, it's once every 20 years or something. But that's under control. But here, it's kind of like, gotta get the house, and you're like, good, I buy my house for 250,000, pay whatever it is, taxes and everything on top of that. Then you've got operating costs, continuous operating costs. Washing machine, first of all, you need to get the washing machine. If it breaks, you got to buy a new washing machine. There's no one coming to fix that.
Yeah, but then the problem is with renting is something goes wrong. We had a year where everything just went wrong, and then you are even afraid to call the agency because
they think you were doing it.
Shit, they think that you are not handling, like, who can break a washing machine, but like mishandling it.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is what you are expecting is in summer is the rent will probably go up because I've asked for all of those things.
Yeah.
So you are again like it's not really helping you anyway.
Well, I mean, it's if you assume that things are going well. Like, for example, here we're very, very lucky here. If anything goes wrong, it's sorted out within 2 days, or But yeah, apparently they say it's not that wise of an investment. Unless you're able to flip it, then it's something else. Like if you buy the house for 100 and sell it for 200, then that's something else, and it's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
But if you're just sitting on it,
but then you are paying the tax,
and then it's
for holding the house.
Oh shit! Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, especially like when you take Germany, for example, right? So, like they cannot. I think that they couldn't just bring up the prices of like rent just from nowhere, right? Because so basically, what is happening here is you either have a rent where you are being asked to pay more because somebody just wants to get more money.
Yeah.
Or you are paying more because, let's say, the apartment block got refurbished or whatever. And that's what's happening in Berlin, for example. They're refurbishing all of these old buildings.
Oh, and they're shooting another 200, 300 euro on us.
For more money. Which is, I think, more logical than the first alternative where it's like, well, my neighbor is asking for more, so I'm going to ask for more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense
No.
in terms of like I do get it, and that's how things work anyway.
Yeah.
But like if I pay more, I want to get something out of it.
Yeah,
You know, so
I
you-
want to have something improved for that price.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
And you just cannot get like, and like you have this all the time. You ask for a new sofa because it's broken or something like that, and it's like you cannot get hold of the landlord for like half a year.
Yeah,
And this is a normal
You need
thing.
to be. Yeah, you need to be lucky. You need to be lucky with your landlord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But then
Because we needed a new couch and we got one the next day, and the washing machine.
yeah, we got one also the first time after we started, and it was like from China. So when I lied on it, it just kind of like dropped by like 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
And then again, then there's no. Yes, you get a new sofa, but there's no like quality measures attached to it.
that's
So
true.
you're like, well, I can. Or when we said, okay, well, we are going to find our own sofa, and then you
Yeah.
can just pay for it. Just tell us the price. No. We are going to. Do
I'll
it.
get
So
it.
it's like
I'll get
I'm
it.
like,
Every
come on, man!
time.
Like
Every
it's
time.
like just tell me the price that you are willing to pay,
And I'll find
that's
something
it.
underneath it. Yeah.
And then in the end, I was like, listen, we'll just buy the sofa, and that's it, and we will keep it.
Leave
once
us
we'll
the fuck
leave.
alone. Yeah.
That's it. And then you will buy a sofa that you want.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just crazy. With like you could go like ages about this.
I know it's an endless subject, and a lot of people will agree. I think on that.
Yeah.
The renting world that we're in is
Yeah.
not an easy one. Speaking of, because you can lose your identity and that kind of stuff. Speaking of identity,
And the thing, well, first of all, you are using your picture on my Snapchat for some reason, and
I have
people
no
are,
idea
people are
where
texting me. People are texting me. It's like, who the hell is this? And I'm like, oh, it's probably like it's Shane from the podcast, and like
Yeah.
the account is connected to my phone number, so it shows up as Rumboys, but then there's Shane's face on it. People are like,
Why,
I thought that somebody's taking your identity. I'm like, yeah, he's probably trying to, but
I seriously cannot explain why. And it's a dumb picture of me on your Snapchat. It's like that kind of I don't get it. I don't know how it got there.
I'll just take it off. No.
Right.
But identity, right? And
Now.
who we are, where we came from,
What?
who were our ancestors?
I went and got myself it was a birthday present from my wife, and we purchased a DNA testing kit.
Yeah.
It's myheritage.co.uk, I think. There's a couple of others. There's ancestry.co.uk or IE, whatever, and 23andMe, and possibly some other ones. So the point is, what you do, you get 2 swabs, and you do a cheek sample swab, just like they do in for DNA testing. Like, so you put it into a little container, put it
Cheek. This cheek or
Ass
cheek,
sample.
ass cheek. They'd be like, Jesus
Why-
Christ,
damn.
send me this.
That's foul DNA, man. Foul DNA. So you're gonna get it sent off, and what they do is they analyze it, and they analyze the heritage of the DNA.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to pinpoint on a world map where your DNA stems from. There could be some mixes in there you really, really don't expect, because I mean, because I'm half Turkish, and it being used to be the Ottoman Empire. There could be an insane mix of where my ancestors, really far back ancestors, could have come from or met. Could be like Asian DNA or something like that, or mad mix. It could be a very potentially a mad mix.
If it would just come up, it's like Berlin.
That's it.
There wouldn't be any like Turkish or anything like that.
Just Berlin. Fuck
Berlin. It's like, oh, okay.
and apparently then you can find out if you do have some Neanderthal DNA, because a good part of the population actually has that. So that for me was an interesting insight, because I've always been that interested in that kind of stuff. Let's see what kind of a mix we're
And
made of.
will they send you like a map with
Yes.
percentages?
Yep, they will.
Yeah.
They will send you. They will pinpoint it on the map, and they'll say, "This is the breakdown. 3% of it is, whatever, African. 4% of it is Asian,
expect
or whatever."
African.
I don't know what mix I think I'm going to be.
Nigeria.
Part Chinese, like all.
You are
good
the prince
mix.
from Nigeria. This is selling
Yeah,
it's trying to get the money back to
I
people.
have money. I want to give it to you.
Just send me the post.
Yeah. So that's basically. So then, it'll take about. I've sent it off on Friday, 2 days ago, and it'll take about 3 to 4 weeks You register a code online so that the sample matches your code that you have registered with, and then you'll get the results. You get an email and you get the results then.
Crazy! I want to try this. Actually.
It's so cool. And you know what else I'm going to do? It's probably going to be a little bit freaky, but I'm gonna keep you guys updated on this. That's for sure. What I'm going to do is, I think you get the raw data, the raw DNA analysis data. You can send that off to a lab and do like a health screening on your DNA, so you can actually check what diseases you might be liable to get, or what your genes might lean into. The possibility of getting certain diseases. I don't really know if I want to see that, but just I want the full DNA picture, just to see.
Yeah, because like you have like diets based on what type of blood you have.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you are you shouldn't be eating, I don't know, oranges, for example, or like tomatoes, or I don't know. There are specific rules, so you should be basing your diet on your blood type.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a friend who does that. So you just find out your blood type, and then you tell him, and he makes
But
like
do you do some like more testing, like not just blood type? Blood type is only your phenotype, like where your type of blood that you're.
No, he just.
But do they analysis and say, okay, look, based on your blood, you're missing these minerals?
This is just like you just tell them like what to do, and then like who you are, based on blood type, and then he just hands you over the paper.
Okay.
charges you €20.
Sounds a bit woo to me.
So, yeah. Well, that's why I didn't do it.
Okay, that's confusing,
like,
man. Yeah.
So he's not checking like the blood.
Yeah, that's
type. Like he's not going to the data, but there's like diets based on what blood type you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still doesn't fit though.
Why?
What if you're like extremely anemic?
And
then it says in there, eat lots of red meat.
I mean, like your doctor would know already about that you need some iron or something.
Yeah, but if you get it's from its doctor that it came. Oh no, some dude.
So like, but you would know that you are anemic if you would go to your
but still
GP.
Though, the dude that's handing out these diets, whatever, he will still give it to you, even though.
Oh yeah, of
you
course,
know you're anemic, but it says here on the diet, eat loads of red meat. Or did you get what I'm saying? Like he might be making a recommendation that you can't handle.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Of course.
It's like stay away from B vitamins or something like that. But here it says, well, your blood type A, eat loads of broccoli or whatever. That's my point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen them.
Why? Oh, that's interesting. We must have a look.
Like, to be honest, like I don't really give a fuck about like blood types or anything. I just do my own diet.
Do what you want.
Yeah, they're like,
do what you want.
They're like, oh, you should be eating like tomatoes or something. But I love them, so like, kill me. You know, I mean, it's just it's strange. But yeah, but if you said that you are going to know like what kind of diseases you might get, or like what you might be liable to.
Susceptible.
So you were mentioning that there is a new thing that they came up like a week ago. Or last week,
yes,
actually.
On the
Monday.
It was announced on the 27th in New Scientist magazine, and it was done 3 days beforehand, I think.
And what is it?
It's CRISPR gene editing is what we saw.
So it's not a dating app, as it sounds. Like
no.
CRISPR.
It's clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats.
I'm so happy that you
clarified that rolled off, man.
Actually.
That rolled off.
Yeah.
Nice.
You got it. Nice.
Basically, okay, we're not gonna. We didn't do full-on research about it because we just wanted to discuss the idea of it more so than anything else. Because A, we're not fucking scientists.
Yeah.
And B, I don't think the facts of it are don't pertain to discussion as such. But basically, it's very, very, very detailed and very precise gene editing in now embryos, and that's the message that was given out.
And what exactly they're trying to do?
Basically, they want to see if they can edit or genetically edit embryos with the intention of removing lifelong illnesses or that kind of thing. Or, for example, if you're again with this ties in with the genes very nicely. If you have a 90% chance of getting a certain disease because of a gene combination that you have, that you can remove that so that the chance will never exist with it. They were viable embryos, but they weren't transplanted. They weren't put back into to grow or anything like that. But they were able to do it. And that was done in the States, not China, not Russia or anything like that. That was done in the States. And that brought with it, of course, and then it all kicked off then, you know. This is the next step in human evolution. This is, whether they do it in the States, the Chinese are going to do it, or somebody's going to, the Russians will do it in some secret lab or whatever. It will be done, and progress will be made, whether you like the ethical side of it, or the moral side of it. These are real designer babies. You know, it's a form of eugenics. Like it's then you turn around and say, oh, you can literally turn on a gene.
Designer babies.
Yeah, that's what they're called, man. You can literally say,
walk into Karl Lagerfeld. What kind of baby are you? I'm Karl Lagerfeld.
Lager baby.
Lager baby.
Yeah, like you can go in and, well, not now, but you know, the concept will be there at some stage that you can just simply go in and switch on certain genes and say, I want a kid over 1.90 m. The likelihood of being over 190.
Just ask me.
Boom.
No
blue eyes,
changes.
Brown hair, something like that. Boom. You'll be able to do that. So now's the question: is it the right thing to do because you're playing God? Oh, I hate even saying that. By the way, no, you're being a scientist.
Amen.
You're being. You're being a scientist, but then always comes that thing. It's like, yeah, but you're playing God. It's kind of like, well, we've been doing this shit like in some form or another. Like, look at genetically modified crops. We did that. You know, that's bread.
I wonder for how many years are they actually doing this already?
Dude,
they just started to do this officially now that they're like, oh yeah, we just found out.
But sure, the Chinese are always at that. Like, there's always every couple of months, they're like, oh, yeah, we've been cloning tigers for ages. Or we mix together dog DNA and pig DNA. And you're kind of like, well, who is regulating this, man?
You know, no one.
It's literally
crazy. Like,
so they've been at it. So, yeah, the question is, it's not a question. It is the next step in human evolution.
But what will they do? Like, I mean, you know, because I know that they were talking about, like, mixing the fruit DNA or like vegetable DNA with like fish DNA, because they're like, we are, I don't know, like, you know, so if potatoes freeze, for example, they get off, so they're like not usable. So let's just create a potato that will have like, I don't know, like cod
genes
DNA in it, it's just so it won't freeze. But then, you know, what will they do? It's like you will have like a cod gene in you, just so you won't get cold ever.
See, that's the thing. We are we're what 98% shared chimp DNA, that kind of stuff. So it's always the perception, I think, is that, for, like you said, a potato with cod genes in it. So you think that there's a part cod in it, but actually it's just a genetic makeup. So it's when you turn around and say like, because we share a good few DNA with maize, I think it is.
With what?
Maize.
Like,
you know, corn on the cob.
Oh yeah,
sweet corn or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we share a good bit of DNA with them, with that plant. So all you're doing is you're changing the building blocks. But you're not taking the essence off the
and then will they let the embryo grow now, or?
See, no. There's a limit. There's a statute set in place that you're not to go over in a lab grown embryo. Let me lie. I think it's 2 weeks or something like that, or 3, or you can go a certain amount, but then you have to terminate the experiment then. But that's the question.
It's
but somebody will do it, regardless, and then all of a sudden they'll see. Another fear was it's the moral and ethical question as well, because again, whole designer babies, but also the risk that you're placing on that, because if you make one small mistake, that can have a knock-on effect. Yeah. So because these are humans doing this, but then again, we come to the point like we did in episode 6. AI will take over at some stage. There will be no more mistakes, you know.
Well, hopefully, no more mistakes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, what will people?
Kevin, my friend, bound to be a bit of Donegal in you, Turk. Could you send a link to the paper? Yeah, I would love to post it here, actually, but I don't know how right now. But it's, check out, go check out New Scientist and just type in embryo gene editing, and then the New Scientist magazine should pop up with an article from the 27th of July. Sorry for interrupting you.
But like, what are they going to do? Like, I think what will be interesting for me to see is like, what will people ask first? It's like, oh yeah, so let's like, whether they will have strange questions about like, okay, so I want my kid to look like that, or it's like, I don't want to have the kid
ever have this kind of disease kind of thing, or whatever,
or I don't know, like don't, or like have special abilities, or like have like really good genes for bodybuilding, for example. I don't know, or like don't produce a lot of like lactic acid, just so he won't get tired ever. And like I wanted another next Mike Phelps and stuff like that. I don't know, or something like that. The better people will be like really thinking about it. It's like, okay, I want a healthy, but then again, how are you going to make sure that there won't be any new disease that you will not create?
That's the whole thing. Yeah, this is a knock-on effect. Right now, you're doing something and you don't know what it's going to be down the line. But again, they're just going to keep at it until they get it right.
I just don't know.
There's no
how many
stopping
kids are they going to
That's
produce
crazy, though, isn't it? Though, to be
thing?
able, like, we're not.
But
just...
even now, you can just go to, like, let's say, lady can walk into a sperm bank and say, okay, well, I want my kid to be looking exactly like this.
Yeah, but that's never guaranteed, because, like, if you because you might take
but
something
you can
from,
still do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, but how are they going to make sure it's like?
Do you know what? As well, if you kind of just analogy just popped into my head. Dogs. You go in, and if you want to buy a Rottweiler, German Shepherd, or something like that, you go in based on their very specific. You might have a guideline for yourself. I want my dog to be this high or whatever. You go look at the parents. That's being bred. That's editing. Like that's.
But then
that's a breeding program.
Also,
but it's
bad
also
because, like they are more.
They have
like
they
sick
have more, illnesses
like
and problems.
They get very bad.
But exactly, yeah. So there you went and you're picking the result of a breeding program. Which is also a form of editing, It just took generations to do so, but you're still selected it. So now we can turn around and be like, if we can have a choice, will we take that choice with humans? We can do it with dogs, we can do it with anything else, but will we do it with humans?
That's crazy.
Folks,
about the lactic acid. So they found it. So Mike Phelps has this kind of like weird thing with lactic acid that he's not producing a lot of it. And that's why he's like so bad, so good. And like I think Usain Bolt has the same thing, that the less lactic acid you are creating, the less tired you are when you are doing physical activity.
Because it.
So they figured
muscles.
this out, and now in America they found another. There's a kid. It's like I think the kid is like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
That they just found out that he has the same thing as Mike Phelps, that he's just not producing the normal amount of lactic acid. They put him to start to train swimming.
Yeah.
And the parents started to get letters from other parents. How unfair this is, and like why are they putting him into the swimming pool, and how unfair this is, like against other kids and all of that. And I'm like do you really like? You already know that you lost. Like your kid already lost. Just make him train more, for example. I don't know, like you can train. As far as I know, you can train the body to produce less lactic acid because the body got used to like the stress or whatever.
Yeah.
The physical activity, but they are like they start to. It's a 3 years old kid, and they start to send letters to their parents saying, "Listen, like how can you do this to the sport?
Warriors, man.
How can you do this shit?" I'm like, people are taking freaking steroids for everywhere.
Yeah.
And you start to give out to kid that,
and just because has a natural ability.
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
it's like it's not his fault that he
exactly.
does this. So like, why don't you send big emails to like all of the guys that took steroids or who got caught?
Yeah.
And, like this kid is like a
use it or lose it, man.
Nature, like it's a magic thing that happened to this kid, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's unfair doing to the sport, and now I have to start to shoot steroids into my kid's ass and shit like that. I'm like, come on, man, just it's crazy what's going on these days. Anyway,
man. So
thank you very much, guys.
very much for joining us. Thank you very much for listening, first and foremost, and thank you for
hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yeah, peeps who popped in on Facebook Live. Thank you very much. We will be doing this again at some stage once we garner a little bit more support. Oh, by the way, the competition is out there.
And it's real.
It's real.
And it's real.
It's.
I know, guys, what you think. It looks like a spam or like clickbait. I know that like the picture that looks there. It's really like sponsored. It looks like sponsored picture.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can blame Shane for that, but. It's a real thing. We are going to pay €50,
exactly, or whatever it may be,
or
wherever
crowns.
you are.
£50 would be the best, because then it will cost us like €2 or €3.
Like the page, share the like and share, tag a friend, tag 2 friends, and just give a little discussion you would have with them. Yeah, so do like it. Go ahead. We're quite, because I see people liking some really, really random stuff. People you definitely don't associate with, like, I don't know, a girl liking.
A man's picture.
A bolt pressing company, but they have a voucher, and you're kind of like, okay, cool. And if you like that, even though you have nothing to do with metal bolts, you can like our competition, man.
Yeah.
So, guys, we love you, and like I said, we will be doing a video again at some stage, but it won't be all the time.
Go for it.
And remember to like and watch
give us
on
topics that you want to hear.
Oh yeah, you can always add topics for us. We'd be glad to hear your opinion on things. So write them in. Check out our YouTube channel as well, Random Urban Memories, and we're on Spreaker. All of this will be put out there anyway. All right. So we thank you humbly.
Thank you.
And
homeboys and homegirls.
Everybody.
Bye. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.
You managed to listen to the Rum Boys talk on Random Urban Memories. Just like and subscribe where you can on all platforms.